Do you remember Frank Williams, the 73-year-old wheelchair user who lost $16,000 to fake physical therapists who made his condition worse through dangerous exercises? The criminal network that targeted Frank didn't disappear after his story exposed their rehabilitation fraud. They simply evolved their tactics and found new victims. This is the story of how that same sophisticated home care scam operation targeted 68-year-old Maria Santos from Phoenix, Arizona, a below-knee amputee who lost her leg in a car accident 2 years ago. Maria's experience reveals how these rehabilitation scammers operate as an organized network, sharing victim databases and refining their disability exploitation techniques. By the end of this video, you'll understand how these connected medical frauds work together and why exposing one scammer doesn't end the threat to disabled seniors seeking legitimate care. Stay until the end because Maria's story connects to an even larger pattern of disability fraud that's still targeting vulnerable seniors across the country. And her investigation uncovered connections that prove these criminals are more organized than anyone realized. The familiar prosthetic promise. It was a Wednesday afternoon in March when Maria's phone rang with a call that would sound disturbingly familiar to anyone who remembers Frank Williams' story. She had just finished her daily prosthetic care routine when her caller ID showed what appeared to be a medical equipment company number. "Mrs. Santos? This is David Rodriguez from Advanced Prosthetic Solutions. I'm calling about breakthrough prosthetic technology that your Medicare has approved specifically for below-knee amputees in your recovery stage." Maria was immediately interested. Like Frank before her, she hadn't requested any prosthetic evaluations, but David continued with the same practiced medical authority that had fooled Frank, using official prosthetic terminology and creating immediate hope for improved mobility. "Mrs. Santos, we've developed revolutionary smart prosthetic technology with neural interface capabilities that can restore 95% of natural leg function. Your insurance profile shows you qualify for our advanced mobility restoration program." The caller knew Maria's amputation details, her prosthetic history, and even referenced her physical therapy progress. The same type of personal medical information that had made Frank's scammers seem so legitimate. David spoke with impressive knowledge about prosthetic advancement. "I need to explain how significant this breakthrough is. Traditional prosthetics only provide basic mobility, but our neural responsive technology reads muscle signals and provides powered assistance that mimics natural leg movement. The network's evolved strategy." David continued his explanation using the same sophisticated medical terminology approach that had trapped Frank, but refined for prosthetic technology. He described neural interfaces, mobility enhancement, and advanced prosthetic systems with impressive technical fluency clearly developed through multiple victim encounters. "Your residual limb shows optimal neural pathway preservation, Mrs. Santos. The muscle signal strength in below-knee amputees like yourself provides ideal conditions for neural responsive prosthetic integration." He explained that Maria's prosthetic challenges were exactly what this technology was designed to address. Maria had indeed struggled with balance, comfort, and the energy required for walking with her current prosthetic. "Mrs. Santos, I've been working with amputee patients for 12 years, and your amputation level and healing pattern is perfect for this technology. Patients with your exact profile typically achieve natural walking patterns within weeks." Like the network that had targeted Frank, David created hope by claiming that Maria's determination during recovery made her an ideal candidate, and that the neural prosthetic would restore the active lifestyle she had lost. "We need to begin the neural mapping process immediately. This specialized prosthetic system costs $14,000, but it's the only technology that can restore natural mobility for someone with your specific amputation characteristics." The Insurance Deception Network. David used the exact same insurance manipulation strategy that had worked on Frank. He explained that Maria's Medicare would cover the prosthetic technology, but the advanced nature required immediate payment that would be reimbursed once the device was fitted and documented. Advanced neural prosthetics require upfront payment because the technology must be custom manufactured for your exact neural patterns and residual limb measurements. Once we complete fitting and submit the mobility reports to Medicare, you'll receive full reimbursement within 60 days. He provided Maria with specific Medicare prosthetic codes and neural technology authorization numbers that sounded official. The same type of fake medical bureaucracy that had convinced Frank. David seemed to have the same detailed knowledge of medical insurance procedures. I understand this seems expensive, but consider the cost of limited mobility versus complete independence. This prosthetic technology can restore the active lifestyle you had before your accident. Patients with your exact amputation have returned to hiking, dancing, and all normal activities. David created the same type of artificial scarcity pressure that Frank had faced, explaining that the neural prosthetic technology was in limited production, and Maria needed to secure her device before other amputee patients exhausted the available units. Based on your amputation profile, Mrs. Santos, we've reserved one of our last 2 neural prosthetic units for your case. If you can't secure this technology today, the next manufacturing run won't be for 3 months. The payment trap. Maria felt the same overwhelming combination of hope and urgency that had trapped Frank. David had created such convincing prosthetic advancement promises that questioning the technology seemed like accepting permanent mobility limitations. She agreed to the neural prosthetic system. David used the identical payment approach that had worked on Frank, guiding Maria through wire transfer requirements to secure her custom prosthetic and ensure rapid manufacturing initiation. At the wire transfer location, Maria experienced the same hesitation Frank had felt. David, still on the phone, used the same coaching techniques to help Maria explain the payment was for Medicare-approved prosthetic equipment, which sounded medically legitimate. Maria's case was immediately connected to Frank's investigation when she reported the crime. FBI medical fraud investigators revealed that both Maria and Frank had been targeted by the same sophisticated criminal organization operating across multiple states with specialized disability fraud divisions. The investigation showed that after Frank's story gained media attention, the network had temporarily suspended their fake rehabilitation scams and pivoted to fake prosthetic technology, scenarios using nearly identical psychological manipulation techniques. This is the same group that targeted Frank Williams, investigators explained. They used the same victim databases, the same insurance deception, and the same payment methods. They just switched the medical technology based on what's getting public attention. Maria learned that the network had extensive databases of disabled senior information obtained through illegal means, allowing them to target amputees, wheelchair users, and other disabled individuals with believable medical scenarios, tailored to their specific disabilities. The Disability Fraud Network. Most disturbing was the discovery that Maria and Frank were just 2 victims in a much larger network of disability fraud targeting seniors nationwide. The investigation revealed dozens of similar cases involving fake medical technologies designed to extract large sums from desperate disabled elderly patients. The criminal network showed sophisticated specialization, with different teams focusing on wheelchair users, amputees, stroke survivors, and other disability categories while maintaining the core psychological manipulation techniques that made their scams so effective. FBI investigators warned that the same network was likely developing new disability fraud scenarios even as Maria's case was being investigated, potentially targeting seniors with fake mobility aids, adaptive technology, or other fabricated assistive devices. Warning signs of the network. Maria identified the same red flags that Frank had missed, showing how the network used consistent manipulation techniques across different disability categories. Unsolicited calls about breakthrough medical technology that patients never requested. The network relied on creating fake technological breakthroughs to bypass rational thinking about experimental treatments. Immediate payment demands for Medicare-covered equipment. All victims were pressured to send large wire transfers before they could verify the technology claims or consult with their actual medical providers. Medical authority figures who knew detailed disability information. The network used stolen medical data to create believable scenarios that seemed impossible to fake. Revolutionary treatments only available through wire transfer payments. Legitimate medical advances are introduced through established medical channels with proper clinical trials and insurance processes. The continuing fight. While Maria never recovered her $14,000, her case provided crucial evidence linking multiple disability fraud operations across the country. Her cooperation with investigators helped identify pattern connections that could prevent future victims. Maria learned the same lesson Frank had discovered. Legitimate medical advances are always introduced through established medical channels, with proper verification procedures, never through unsolicited phone calls demanding immediate wire transfers. Most importantly, Maria's investigation revealed that the network was already preparing new disability fraud scenarios, targeting different assistive technologies, suggesting that more disabled seniors would face similar scam attempts in the coming months. Final thoughts. Maria's story proves that stopping individual disability scammers doesn't end the threat to vulnerable seniors. These criminals operate as sophisticated networks that share resources, victim information, and successful manipulation techniques across multiple states and disability specialties. The connection between Maria's prosthetic scam and Frank's rehabilitation fraud shows how these networks adapt and evolve while maintaining their core strategy of exploiting disability hopes for financial gain and preserving their victim databases for ongoing fraud operations. If you receive unexpected calls about breakthrough assistive technology, remember both Frank's and Maria's experiences. Hang up immediately and contact your actual medical providers to verify any technology claims before taking action. The fight against disability fraud networks continues, and understanding their connected operations is crucial for protecting yourself and other vulnerable disabled seniors from their evolving schemes. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.